Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning here in Austin, Texas. This is day 1582 of the 3+ Minutes of Planks Challenge, and as always, I am filled with gratitude. Thoughts on my mind this morning. Every Monday I go to a recovery class at my church, and it's just us men and women just going there to work through the issues and things that we're going through. Talking about our lives, talking about the things that we struggle with, and also the things that bring us joy. And I remember there was a moment there yesterday where I was sitting amongst these men, and every one of us is just kind of telling our story. And I just remember thinking to myself that, man, all of these men are just beautiful souls, and they just inspire me. And the specific thing we were just talking about in that moment was surrender. And I remember thinking, we all go around and we say positive things about ourselves before we go into the room. Before we go into our stories. And the positive thing that I said to myself in that moment was, actually just said to everyone, was I was the dumbest person in the room. And a lot of that comes from a space of humility, surrender, and the idea of saying that there's always something for me to learn. Don't be so arrogant or operate in your ego so much that you can't learn anything. And I remember for a moment, the guys kind of looked at me strange by what I meant by that. But as I expressed the story, I believed it made sense. Right after that, I was just talking to my buddy Noah, and I was just kind of expressing some things that was going on in my mind. And we were talking about the marathon, and I was telling him, it's so interesting to me. There are a lot of times that I have to be so conscious of my energy and my light, because I just find that I get people randomly coming to me, telling me their stories and things of the sort, which I'm not offended by it at all. Actually, I love it because it's part of my purpose. But there are moments that I just have to be conscious of it. And then also, how am I showing God in any of the moments? Right after that, I went to a gas station. I was hungry. And one of my addictions is sugar. And I was like, I just felt that I wanted it and needed it in that moment. So I'll go into the gas station and I grab a Snickers bar and some sour cream onion chips. Probably shouldn't have had them, but my body was craving them and I was feeling weak in the moment. I walk outside of the store, and this gentleman who I'd seen going in and we had waved hi comes up to me and said, man, I love your car, and I love the logo on your car. And I needed to see it in that moment. It was such a serendipitous moment. And I was like, really? Explain. You see, on the logo on my car, as you see here, it says, but you can. No matter what's going on in your life, no matter what you struggle with, no matter whatever excuse you use, you can. And it's just a thought that I always say, no matter what's going on, just do it. And he was telling me and expressing to me a story that he was driving to Dallas that night to take his daughter back to her mom. And he was telling me the things that he was struggling with and all the inner dialogue that's going on that's negative. And we sat there for about 10 minutes. And what was so interesting to me was God had put each of us in that moment to gain and garner anything that we need to get from that moment, and to understand that we're not alone and that someone else still cares. So that gentleman's named Trey, and I'm actually going to feature him on my podcast to tell his story. And that's the beauty of what I do. You know, the idea is to give people the safe space to talk about any and everything that they need to talk about, because what we do and what we go through impacts the world around us. And we should do it in our best versions of ourselves, the most healed person in our healed version of ourselves, but most importantly, the most God-like and loving that we can be. Anyway, that's my thoughts for the day. As always, be blessed today and every day. Thank you for listening. Peace.